DOD at iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where you can watch the show streaming live via our beautiful DanoCam. You can also watch us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well, and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. A vigil drew hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to Athens, Georgia, for the funeral or for a memorial service for Laken Riley. She was the student who was brutally killed while out for a jog. According to the Associated Press, this highlights the dangers of women jogging alone. And nothing else, just women jogging alone. In a totally unrelated story, President Biden is sprinting, and I mean sprinting, to the border. He has not been to the southern border, except for one time he flew over El Paso during his presidency. But now, right now, at this exact moment, he's going. On the exact same day Donald Trump is going. Now, he said during his ice cream session with late-night host Seth Meyers, he had no idea on the exact same day that Trump had announced that, and this was known for several days, that he was going to be in Eagle Pass, Texas, in the Del Rio sector, that Biden was going to be going to the Rio Grande Valley sector in Brownsville. Had no idea.
I was planning to go Thursday. What I didn't know is my good friend apparently is going.
And will you meet with migrants while you're there, Mr. President?
Well, I'm not going to announce ahead of time. Secret Service doesn't like me announcing exactly what I'm doing.
So what exactly is he going to do there? Well, his press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, made it clear he's not going to actually do anything or announce anything that would secure our southern border. He's just kind of going to go.
Karine, you just said that the president will take action on Thursday at the border.
Well, I meant him going. I probably should clear that up. You're right. I did. When I said it, I was like, oh gosh. Him going is showing that he's taking this very seriously. No. What I'm saying what I meant by that is like him going is an action, right? He's taking this very seriously. He's going to go directly to Brownsville, Texas, see exactly what's going on, hear directly from the Border Patrol agents who are doing the work, in the best way that they can with the resources that they have, but they need more.
Gotta love Karine saying, yeah, I know I screwed up when I said he's taking action. No. I didn't want that to get misconstrued. The action is that he's showing up for a couple of photo ops. And it's totally coincidental that this week he's going just a couple of days after a massive vigil for a woman who was just out for a jog. The Associated Press, with an article that is just getting absolutely savaged in conservative circles. And yes, as we will see today, Republicans are pouncing on this horrible tragedy. The Associated Press noted that it's getting increasingly dangerous for women to jog alone. And they also cite the 2018 murder of a young woman named Molly Tibbetts. Now, what they don't point out in that entire article is that both Molly Tibbetts and Laken Riley were murdered by illegal aliens. Ever since Laken Riley's alleged murderer first entered the country, we have been told by President Biden, the White House press secretary, and pretty much everyone involved in this administration that the border is secure. The idea that there's a crisis at the border is a Republican fantasy and an attempt to gin up outrage ahead of the 2024 election, and that everything was under control. And all the while, Laken Riley's killer was getting closer and closer to her. September 2022. A 24-year-old man named Jose Antonio Ibarra illegally crosses into the United States in the El Paso border sector and is apprehended by Border Patrol agents but released on parole. That same week, Vice President Kamala Harris goes on NBC News to proclaim that the border is secure.
2 million people cross this border for the first time ever. You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration.
3 days later, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre agrees with that assessment.
Is the border secure?
I'm just going to refer back to the Vice President. We agree with her. She is saying that there's a lot of work to do, right? She also said that in that very statement. We agree that the border is secure, but there is still more work to be done.
That night, President Biden himself also declares the border secure.
And we have a process in place to manage migrants at the border. We're working to make sure it's safe and orderly and humane.
After entering the country, Jose Ibarra makes his way to New York City and lives there illegally. On September 12, 2023, Democratic Representative Dan Goldman tells New Yorkers that the massive influx of illegal aliens isn't a threat to their safety.
Do you not think that the migrant crisis or the southern border situation is at all a security threat to New Yorkers?
I don't think it's any more of a security threat to New Yorkers than domestic violent extremism or other threats.
2 days later, Ibarra is arrested in Queens for driving without a license and causing an injury to a child. He's released from custody and, in an apparent effort to avoid charges in New York, heads down to Athens, Georgia. A few days after that, his brother, who's also an illegal alien, is arrested in Athens, Clark County for driving under the influence, driving without a license, speeding, having an open container of alcohol, and failing to yield to an emergency vehicle. A week after that, President Biden is asked about whether he believes a border wall is necessary to stop illegal immigration into this country.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No. Okay, thank you.
A little more than 3 weeks later, on October 27th, Jose Ibarra and his brother are cited in Athens, Clark County for shoplifting. Because Athens is a sanctuary district, neither one is referred to ICE and both are set free. A week later, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas testifies before Congress that the situation at the southern border is not a disaster.
So the situation at the border, you're saying, is not a disaster?
That is correct.
2 weeks later, he tells a reporter that the solution to the situation at the border is a pathway to citizenship for everyone in this country illegally.
The answer is quite clear and quite straightforward, and we've been waiting for it for about 30 years. And that is to fix a system that everyone agrees is fundamentally broken, and we need congressional action, both for the lawful pathways that really need to be more robust in statute, and for the 12 million people who are here in the United States who have been contributing so fundamentally to our country's well-being. They're our neighbors, our friends, our fellow congregants. They provide our frontline workers. We need to do something, and I am hopeful and remain hopeful that Congress will do it.
On December 20th, the Ibarra brothers failed to show up in court on their shoplifting charges, and bench warrants are issued for their arrests. The very next day, Karine Jean-Pierre says the situation at the border is not at all unusual.
And what we're seeing here at the border, the migration flow, increased migration flow, certainly it ebbs and flows. And we're at a time of the year where we're seeing more at the border. And it's not unusual. This is an immigration system that has been broken for decades. And the president has taken this very seriously to try to do more.
The following week, Mayorkas says it's a lie that the Biden administration is not enforcing immigration laws.
Some have accused DHS of not enforcing our nation's laws. This could not be further from the truth.
Midway through February, Mayorkas is impeached, something Jean-Pierre says is baseless and shameful.
I do want to say that the president did connect with Secretary Mayorkas earlier today, and you saw the president's statement last night, which said that history will not look kindly on House Republicans for this blatant act of what we believe to be unconstitutional bipartisanship. And so we believe that what occurred last night is baseless. It's shameful.
A week and a day later, an Augusta University nursing student named Laken Riley is discovered murdered. The very next day, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says Republicans are lying about there being a crisis at the border.
The idea that Republicans, in order to win an election, say we need to hermetically seal the border when they know that that is economic self-sabotage to the U.S. economy. And they are saying, let's do it anyway. And to compensate for the negative effects, we're going to allow and throw people's kids into factories. That is what they are doing in rolling back child labor laws while being as xenophobic and anti-immigrant as they are, and while ginning up this false narrative about this being a crisis.
The next day, Jose Ibarra is arrested and charged in Laken Riley's death. He faces a number of counts, including malice murder, felony murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, kidnapping, hindering a 911 call, and concealing the death of another person. His brother is charged with possession of a fake green card. Laken Riley's family and friends are devastated. An intelligent, beautiful, and loving young woman is gone, brutally killed by a man who should never have been in this country and should have been in jail and prepared for deportation numerous times. But he wasn't. For nearly 2 years, while President Biden, members of his administration, and elected Democrats have all been swearing to the public that there is no crisis at the southern border. But all the while, Jose Ibarra and his brother were moving around freely, committing crimes wherever they went, and knowing full well that they would never be punished for them. Only Laken Riley and those who loved her were punished. She paid with her life for the people who knowingly allowed her killer to walk free in a country he had no right to be in, all the while telling the country that they had nothing to fear from their fundamentally dangerous policies. And that is the greatest tragedy of all.
The Wode's dining room table from Penny Mustard is a sight to behold.
It exudes power and strength.
Incredible things happen at the Wode's table.
Food tastes better.
Conversations last longer.
And relationships grow stronger.
American made with solid wood and conversion varnish for an extra durable finish.
It's one of Penny Mustard's top 10 most popular designs year after year.
The Wode's table is simply incredible.
Yeah, if you do homework at this table, you'll get every answer correct.
Well...
If you play poker on this table, you'll win every hand.
Don't say that.
If you draw up world-dominating plans at this table, you will rule the universe.
Okay, I'm legally obligated to say that the Wode's table from Penny Mustard does not guarantee perfect homework, poker winnings, or complete world domination.
Well, you won't know until you try.
The Wode's dining table, starting at $32.54.
Paired with Boggs chairs for $8.02 each.
Only at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Picture taking your first steps into your brand new home. What do you see? Whether it's cooking meals in your 5-star kitchen or practicing downward dog in your sunroom, Belinsky Homes can handle it all. At Belinsky Homes, we know each lifestyle calls for unique home essentials. That's why we've been designing distinct and deliberate floor plans for over 60 years. Considering every last inch of space, we build new homes ready to adapt to your life's needs. Visit Belinsky.com today to find your right fit. Belinsky Homes, built for life.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. And feel the difference of Relief Factor.
Market volatility, global issues, inflation, still. More than a few headwinds this year. That's probably why Americans feel uncertain about their financial futures. Boomers, not much room for error. Gen X might need more than a 401k. And for millennials, it's time to get real about saving and investing. Talk to Annex Wealth Management. Build security with a partner on your side for unbiased advice. You may need more than investments. That's why Annex delivers tax and estate planning. There's an Annex plan personalized for you. Click the Get Started button at AnnexWealth.com.
Now, with that opening monologue tying the timeline of Jose Antonio Ibarra moving through the country freely, committing crimes wherever he goes, and eventually coming across Laken Riley, where he brutally attacks her and then murders her, leaving her body on the side of a hiking trail. Would that be an example of a conservative seizing on this tragedy? Let's ask Jake Tapper.
Republicans obviously seizing on this horrific tragedy at the University of Georgia. This girl, this nursing student, killed by an undocumented Venezuelan migrant, and they're seizing on this as an example of Biden's failure to protect the American people, to secure the border.
They wouldn't, by any chance, just be sort of reflecting the biggest concerns of the American people. According to Gallup, significantly more Americans name immigration as the most important problem facing the United States, 28%, than did a month ago. 20%. Immigration has now passed the government as the most often cited problem. After the two issues tied for the top position the past 2 months, the government ranked first each month from January through November 2023. I would, of course, argue that the immigration issue is, in fact, an issue with government, since clearly the people in charge of enforcing our border are not, so that they can import as many people as possible into this country. Why? Well, they keep telling us to provide a pathway to voting, a pathway to citizenship. On MSNBC, Congresswoman and Senate candidate Katie Porter out of California sort of gave up the game a little bit, saying, yeah, this death is tragic, but it is under no circumstances going to stop our new voter import program.
Well, I think when a horrible tragedy like this happens, I think whenever we're dealing with violent crime, there is a sense of outrage, of sadness, and of loss. But I think the important thing to focus on is any one instance shouldn't shape our overall immigration policy.
We've sure come a long way if this program, if this policy can save just one life, we're going to enact it. We're going to do it. If gun control can save just one life, we have to do it. Congresswoman Porter, we can save one life if we just would have kept Jose Antonio Ibarra in Venezuela. Soundbite I just found. Too late to put in that montage we put together. And yes, we will be podcasting that. I should be able to put together a a written version of it, I hope, within the next couple of hours or days, perhaps. I'm toying with doing that as a column for the MacIver Institute this week, but I've also got some other stuff I want to do. We found this soundbite. So Ibarra comes to the United States from Venezuela on September 8th. He crosses the border, 2022. September 20th, 2022, President Biden is asked, hey, why is illegal immigration so bad under you?
On the border, why is the border more overwhelmed under your watch, Mr. President?
Because there are 3 countries that there are fewer immigrants coming from Central America and from Mexico. This is a totally different circumstance. What's on my watch now is Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. And the ability to send them back to those states is not rational. You could send them back and have them. We're working with Mexico and other countries to see if we can stop the flow. But that's the difference.
You see, it's not rational to send someone like Jose Antonio Ibarra back. How about someone like Stephen Claude Radigan, a.k.a. James Claude Julius? He's been arrested in connection with shooting 3 police officers in Washington, D.C. Do you remember that story? You might not, because, of course, the press did its level best to ignore it. He's in this country illegally and had been seeking refuge in D.C. because it's a sanctuary city. He was also arrested after being barricaded in his house. He had 31 dogs in his home. Illegal alien. People see this. People recognize that this is a dangerous game Democrats are playing. And I think a lot of people know intrinsically why Democrats are playing it. Gallup poll. This is the first time since 2019, the last time we had this major surge at the southern border, and it should be noted that that was a tiny fraction of the sheer numbers of people that have come in the 5 years since. First time since 2019, illegal immigration is named as the number 1 issue. Now, Republicans have focused a lot over the past couple of years. On this show, we have highlighted inflation and the economy. That's named as the top issue. This survey just out today, this morning. That's named as the top issue by just 12% of the populace. Same percentage that named the economy in general as the top issue. More than twice as many say immigration is a serious, serious problem. The reason for this is obvious. People can see the out-of-control southern border. They can see now in their neighborhoods. You've got to give credit where credit is due. One of the single most impactful political actions of the past decade, if not longer, has to be Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida sending illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities like D.C., like New York, like Chicago, like Martha's Vineyard and Boston, and everywhere else where liberals thought they were safe from the devastating impacts of their own policies. Well, now that their voters, in addition to Republicans who already cared about the disastrous impact of unfettered illegal immigration on the social safety net, on crime, on the straining of law enforcement and emergency services and school resources, on the sheer inability of this country to deal with 7 million new people suddenly showing up in the span of 3 years. That's greater than the population of 38 states. By way of comparison, there are 5.8 million people in Wisconsin. This would be like a new Wisconsin, just sort of coming in, spread across the country, plus another 2 million people almost. The numbers are staggering. And what we know is that almost nobody is being deported. Almost nobody is being forced to leave the country. They're all being allowed to stay. This, folks, is the reason, as we will see next, why former President Trump is now leading Biden in almost every single swing state there is. Stay tuned. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back.
Conservative thought, not just talk. The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
We've told you about Moses Hadara,
the diamond cutter who created the Kessler 81.
The magical diamond that vibrates with light.
Kessler's works with crazy diamond cutters.
Geniuses who create wonderful, spectacular,
crazy diamond shapes.
The one thing these crazy genius diamonds all have in common
is that they explode with light.
The Kessler Emerald Cut diamond sends out rippling waves of light, like water lapping onto a beach.
The Kessler Square Radiant Diamond glows like the sun on the horizon.
Sometimes sunrise,
sometimes sunset.
Come to Kessler's.
Come to Kessler's.
Come to Kessler's.
Ask to see the rippling waves of light, like water on the beach.
Ask to see the glow that looks like sunrise and sunset.
Ask to see the Kessler Crazy Genius Diamonds.
See them for yourself.
See them for yourself.
See them for yourself.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Attorney Tom Grieve here for Divergent Family Law. You really believed your paths were one and the same until death do you part. Your best interest was their best interest. Increasingly, it's clear you are on divergent paths, having grown apart in interests, goals, even morality. Having made it through the latest battery of holidays, you're now resolved to make your own way. Divergent Family Law is experienced attorneys who will make sure your path is not the lesser of two traversed as you go separate ways. Wisconsin statutes have no provisions for love, hate, or anger. Divorce is the disassembly of a legal contract, the division of assets, and the legal assignment of responsibility for property that cannot be physically divided. No judge or parent can split children in two, physically or emotionally. Family law is experiential. With Divergent Family Law, the outcome is predictable. Our attorneys can tell you up front with considerable accuracy the details of your divorce decree because we know Wisconsin family law. We know the adjudicators and we know your rights. Divergent Family Law, separate and equal or better. DivergentFamilyLaw.com.
I have problems with my roof and I need to replace it. Or I have problems with my roof and the last thing in the world I want to do is replace it. Hi, Colleen here from Tri-County Contracting. We can help. If you really do need to get a new roof, we can completely tear off your old roof and install a new one. Most roofs can be done in 1 to 2 days. With this new roof comes a lifetime product warranty, a lifetime workmanship warranty, and our exclusive yearly roof inspection program. Any questions or issues down the line, we've got you covered. And with more than 45 years in business, you know we'll be there for you. Now, if you fall in the I don't want to have to get a new roof right now category, we can still help. You need our worry-free roof tune-up. For one flat fee of $650, we will fix the problem areas on your roof. Visit our website, TriCountyContractingWI.com, for details and request a free estimate today. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Looking for a great vacation without all the travel and lodging expenses? Find your answer at the original Milwaukee RV Show at State Fair Park's Expo Center. The show runs Thursday, February 29th through Sunday, March 3rd. You'll see the very latest in RV models and camping options. Adults are just $10. Kids 12 and under are free. And admission on Thursday is half price. Get tickets at the door or at MilwaukeeRVShow.com. Then start planning for many fun-filled vacations.
If you're someone who's experiencing spine and musculoskeletal pain or shoulder, hip, and knee pain, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Jay Weber here, talking about the doctors and techs that I trust with my shoulder problems. I've had issues for years with micro tears, not enough to warrant surgery, but painful and annoying nonetheless. I discovered that it wasn't a pain that I just had to live with, and Orthopedic Associates doctors gave me options to help the problem and alleviate the pain that I never knew were available. So if you're like me, know that you just don't have to live with it. And you will be impressed with Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin and their staff. I've never waited more than a few minutes after check-in to see the doctor or tech, and I've never felt forgotten in an exam room. Their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality joint care, from simple strains and tears to sports injuries to complex joint replacements. In fact, Orthopedic Associates specializes in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you to the limits of your plan. Go to LifeLock.com and save up to 25% your first year with promo code CLAY.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Pure Talk believes in American values and that free should mean exactly that, free. Well, switch to Pure Talk today and you'll get a free Samsung 5G smartphone. Now, qualifying plans start at just $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and, of course, mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, claim your eligibility for your free brand new Samsung 5G smartphone. Start saving on wireless today and switch to my cell phone company, Pure Talk.
Today is the Michigan primary. Totally not a coincidence that yesterday, while out for ice cream with Seth Meyers, President Biden announced that he hopes to have a ceasefire in Gaza by the end of the weekend. We will explain why those two things are related and who's really in charge of the Democratic Party coming up in the 10 o'clock hour here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. It's a tour de force of truth, and the truth is, for Biden, the polls are getting even uglier than they had been. Harvard-Harris poll out today. If the presidential election were held today, who would you vote for? Trump, 53%, Biden, 47%. Now, okay, it's far off. There's a whole lot that can happen and that will happen between now and November. But I want to take you back to February 2020, the exact same poll. If the election were held today, who would you vote for? Biden, 55%, Trump, 45%. Reason for this? Independents are breaking for Trump in a way that they weren't breaking in 2020. In 2020, Biden led among independents. February Harvard-Harris poll, 57% to 43%. People were tired of Trump. Even back then. This was before COVID-19, folks. This was along the time that it was right around the same time of Super Tuesday, where it was clear after the South Carolina primary. So this is a pretty close direct one-to-one comparison. February 2020, February 2024. Independents were tired of Trump's antics. Now, they, I think, have factored Trump's antics into the equation and said, okay, Trump sucks, and Trump's annoying, and Trump's a bully, and Trump's a buffoon. But man, oh man, is the country in a big mess because of Biden. And I firmly believe the biggest reason for this, and this is backed up with this Gallup survey that's out today, is illegal immigration. Illegal immigration is by far Trump's strongest issue. It's by far Biden's weakest issue, even above and beyond Biden being frail and Biden being obviously in cognitive decline and not up to the job. What they're trying to do right now is to parry that issue, to sort of dodge that blow by saying, well, Trump's in mental decline too. Doesn't matter if it's true. The media megaphone will convince enough people that it is. Oh, look, Trump mixed up his wife's name. He misspoke in saying, boy, oh boy. I can't even count the number of times in a given week that I miss a word. There is nobody, except most of the liberals who listen to me, that would think I'm in cognitive decline or am mentally impaired in any way. Biden is not the same person that he was in 2020. I believe that's factored into the equation too. But here's where things get really, really, really bad for Biden. We don't vote, as I am sure you're aware, except, of course, for the liberals who listen to me, who think that the national popular vote should decide who becomes president. They want to abolish the Electoral College and are doing their level best to do so. We vote in 50 separate states, plus the District of Columbia. There are roughly 7 states that will decide this election. There could be a surprise. Colorado could be in play, or Ohio could go a little more purple than it has been, or what was the ultimate swing state, Florida, but now Republicans win by double digits routinely because of the Ron DeSantis effect. So there could be a surprise in there. But the big 7 are Nevada, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. That's what pollsters are saying. Those are the ones that everybody's watching. I think North Carolina is a red state, so I say it's 6. All of those states minus North Carolina. In every single one, according to Emerson College polling published in The Hill, when they do the full 5-way matchup, I guess, because I keep forgetting Cornel West is running for president. Trump, Biden, RFK Jr., Jill Stein of the Green Party, and Cornel West. Is he running with the socialists? Is he on the Socialist or Communist Party USA? I have no idea what he's running on, but he is running as an independent. Stein and West take about 1%. RFK Jr. consistently polls at 6 or 7%. And if I guarantee the Biden and Trump campaigns are desperately trying to figure out whether those 6 or 7% are more likely to be Democrats or Republicans. In Nevada, Trump currently leads by 10 points over Biden, 44-34. In North Carolina, he's up 9, 46-37. In Georgia, he's also up 9, 45-36. Arizona, he's up 6, 43-37. In Pennsylvania, he's up 5, 42-37. In Michigan, which has its primary today, he's up 3, 42-39. And in Wisconsin, in polling just released today, he's up 41-37, with 7% going to RFK, 1% each, probably less than 1%, but there's a round up to Stein and Cornel West. Independents are, in fact, breaking for Biden. And this has me a little skeptical of this poll because I know we're a 50-50 state. If anything, Democrats probably outnumber Republicans by 1% or 2, which makes me a little concerned that there's an oversampling of Republicans here. But folks, Trump was not winning at any point during the 2020 cycle. He just wasn't. In any of these swing states, all of the swing state polling showed him losing, even in states that he eventually won. He lost Arizona. He lost Georgia. He lost Wisconsin, all by a tiny fraction. In fact, in those 3 states combined, the margin of Trump's loss was 45,000 votes. Not in each state, total. That's how close this election was. Throw out the national popular vote because I think Biden won by about 6% or something like that, 4, 5, 6%, whatever it was, totally irrelevant. Forget even about the other swing states, North Carolina, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Michigan. If Trump wins Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, if he can convince 45,000 voters, that's it, to vote for him, or in the alternative, RFK or Jill Stein or Cornel West can convince 45,000 Biden voters not to vote for them. And you might remember in Wisconsin in 2016, there were 20,000 people who voted for Jill Stein almost certainly instead of Hillary Clinton. They didn't want to vote for Trump. There was no chance they were going to vote for Trump or a Republican, or there was a libertarian candidate. I think Gary Johnson was running as a libertarian in 2016. They were liberals who hated Hillary Clinton, or they were liberals who are committed to the Green Party. Whatever it is, there were 20,000 votes for Jill Stein in 2016. In 2020, the Wisconsin Elections Commission, in a totally unbiased decision that followed every single applicable state law, please note the sarcasm, commissioners kept the Green Party off the ballot. They understood, every Democrat in the state understood, that Jill Stein was just going to serve as a spoiler. So what are Democrats to do? Trump does better in these five-way hypothetical matchups in the polls than he does in just a strict head-to-head against Joe Biden. Clearly, West, who is a lefty, Stein, who is a lefty, and RFK, who sounds like a conservative on the immigration issues, on foreign policy, and, foreign policy is a little difficult because the sides have essentially switched. I don't think I have ever seen, we've got some examples. I think we'll have to punt those until the afternoon show. I'm filling in for Mark Belling on WISN again today. We've got some examples of the media and Democrats saying, yes, we need to have unlimited funding for the Ukraine so we can subsidize the American defense industry. Boy, oh boy, somewhere Cindy Sheehan is just shaking her head. Really? Really? We're going to give more money to Dick Cheney's buddies. Okay. So the parties have sort of switched positions, but only with respect to the Ukraine war. Israel, Hamas, we want an immediate ceasefire. So foreign policy, okay. RFK, though, is still a traditional Democrat, and the lane he's in is the Democrats who are disaffected by the woke mainstream of the Democratic Party. How will Democrats rebut this? I believe there's going to be a push to recruit Nikki Haley once she drops out of the Republican primary, and that may be coming. The Koch Industries, Americans for Prosperity, their action group, their PAC, they announced that they're not going to fund Nikki Haley's run anymore. The Kochs hate Trump. They always have hated Trump, and they switched from their support of Ron DeSantis to Nikki Haley, and that boost of cash was one of the big reasons that Haley surged into second place in this primary, ultimately forcing DeSantis out of the race following the Iowa caucuses. Well, when that money dries up, she's going to have to either rely on Democrat-aligned groups, which are trying to keep her in this race, or she can sit down with the Mitt Romney, Joe Manchin, hey, we're just centrists. Yeah, we all have a common goal of keeping Donald Trump from being president. But I think she would be the ideal candidate for them, and she would take just enough Republican votes to cause major problems in these swing states for Trump. Unhinged liberal of the day coming up next.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Merle, what are you doing up here?
Shouting good news from the rooftops, okay.
What do you mean you became an electrician?
We know Capital's been doing electrical for a while now.
But it's been kind of a secret exclusive thing, Merle.
Might not be time to announce Capital does electrical, bud.
Wow.
He's super passionate about this.
You're right, Merle.
All of Milwaukee and beyond deserves to hear it.
If you have an electrical issue,
there's only one place with highly trained electricians
who never cut corners
and take the time to get the job done right.
We'll join you, Merle.
Let's shout it from the rooftops, buddy. Capital does electrical.
If you've got an electrical issue, call Capital today or schedule online at callcapitalcares.com.
Hot summer night, lightning strike. Down goes the tree, right through their bedroom wall, nearly ruining a walnut headboard, which is pretty hard wood. Fortunately, the customers were okay. But the headboard? That wasn't. Until they called us. We made that Victorian headboard better than new. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing repair and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair, where no job's too small. So Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MalaliFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Malali. Malali Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Madsen, owner of Color Wheel Painting. When you hire a painter, what are you really looking for? Is it straight lines? Good coverage? Is it really about quality painting? Or are those things just inherent expectations? Of course they are. Years ago, I figured it out. Color Wheel's success is about way more than the high quality work we do. It's about you feeling safe and respected in your own home. It's about you trusting our geek level expertise to do the work. It's about you receiving our courtesy around your family, being kind to your dog, and cleaning up well, because you don't need another mess. Ultimately, it's the experience, front to back and back again. And so, while there are a lot of people who can kind of paint, they can't do what Color Wheel does to make you feel great about every dollar you spend. There's only one Color Wheel Painting, so look no further. RemodelandPaint.com. That's RemodelandPaint.com.
Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you to the limits of your plan. Go to lifelock.com and save up to 25% your first year with promo code CLAY.
It's a great time to replace windows and doors. Go ahead, ask me why. Hi, this is Terry Lodwick, owner of All American Window and Door Company. Visit our showroom for in-depth answers. Be sure to ask me why. It's a great time to replace windows and doors. Let me prove it. All American Window and Door Company on Mequon Road in Germantown. 262-255-7170. Estimates are free.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
Everything they say in their ads is true and then some. Very fair price, no real estate agent fees or closing costs. They even switched the utilities out of your name.
Within weeks, we had closed and couldn't be happier.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
If you or a loved one needs a personal injury attorney, ask around. Lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, insurance adjusters, refer Warshevsky because we achieve maximum judgments and settlements. Their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
Wisconsin Badger basketball. Season winding down. Tuning up for the big dance.
Foul in the wall. Low on the left. Throws it up. Got it. Count it. Not a foul.
Tuesday night, the Badgers take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Matt LePay shoot-around starts at 5. Tip at 6 on 97.3 The Game.
Top of the hour, some incredible reporting from the Daily Signal, Cheryl Atkinson's website, on a man forced to, well, I mean, he's not being forced. He clearly loves this arrangement. A woman forced to bunk with a man at Wisconsin's women's prison. You can imagine how well that's going. First, though, the unhinged liberal of the day.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist. Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Okay, first of all, I just want to, because a lot of people have all suggested the same person for Unhinged Liberal of the Day. I want to make it clear when we do these fun, silly, hey, let's highlight how crazy liberals are. We don't want to do anything that results in death or serious injury or anything like that. Everyone has been suggesting the dude who lit himself on fire outside of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. And frankly, folks, boy, oh boy, that was a tough video to watch. Is an Air Force member. We're going to talk about that in the 10 o'clock hour, because the reaction amongst the left, including, this is probably going to be the most we've ever talked about Cornel West on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Some prominent lefties are defending clearly insane actions like suicide in the name of the struggle as perfectly sane, perfectly rational. And you know my philosophy. There is a whole lot of diagnosed and undiagnosed mental illness on the American and global political left. We'll get into that. But so no deaths in Unhinged Liberal of the Day. And besides, folks, we've got Joy Reid.
The United States has a population of north of 327 million people. Why do we need more kids?
Now, we could stop it right there. Her Malthusian craziness. I can take a wild guess which kids, shall we say, Joy Reid would say, we don't need you in the population. She's reacting to this Alabama court ruling about IVF embryos. And she's saying, okay, the defense is, well, we need more children. She's saying, we don't.
I mean, your party, Senator Tuberville, is the one screaming that 10 million immigrants, which I don't even know that number even makes any sense, because it doesn't, have streamed into the country since Joe Biden has been president, and you're claiming that that's too many people, that if more people come into the southern border, this is some sort of crisis because we've got too many people and we've got no more space and we can't afford more people. But now you're saying we need more kids?
She also likened this to, what do you think Joy Reid would liken this to? We need more people to do manual labor. Slavery, of course, and it wouldn't be an Unhinged Liberal of the Day without a comparison to The Handmaid's Tale.
White folks need more kids? Is this like a great replacement thing where you're concerned that there's not enough white people in the population versus the growth of the Latino population, the black population, the Asian American population, and so the we is white people need to make white women have more kids, and that's the we and that's the why? Because it's a little creepy, a little Handmaid's Tale-y, don't you think?
I have been pretty open about my love for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's stupidity. Folks, I'm at the point I may have to cheat a little. I may have to have a side piece with Joy Reid's stupidity, because she just drops some absolute bangers of audio sound bites that we use on this program. Joy Reid, your Unhinged Liberal of the Day. Why have kids? We could just import more illegal immigrants to what? We could have, that you can dress them up, you can send them off to school. This woman is nuts. Dan O'Donnell Show, conservative thought, not just talk, coming back.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. The father of a boy found starved and dead in a Milwaukee home last year has finally been taken into custody. Rumwan Moy was in court yesterday after his arrest by Milwaukee police Sunday. The 45-year-old Moy is the prime suspect in the death of 12-year-old Jakari Robinson, whose decaying body was found by police in his father's home last October. An autopsy found the boy also had multiple broken bones. Moy had been on the run until he was apprehended this weekend. He faces 1 count of first-degree reckless homicide, 3 counts of child neglect, and he's being charged for failing to report his son's death. Two people are now formally charged in the disappearance of a little boy in Two Rivers. 31-year-old Katrina Bauer and 39-year-old Jesse Vang were charged with child neglect, with Bauer being charged with a party to a crime in the case of 3-year-old Elijah View. The toddler's been missing for a week now. During their bail setting, the county's district attorney said Bauer sent the boy to Vang's apartment for disciplinary purposes. President Biden says he hopes there will be a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict by next Monday. CNN reported yesterday Hamas has backed off some key demands in the negotiations for a hostage deal and a pause in the fighting in Gaza following Israeli accusations that its position was delusional. Those involved in the discussions have said an agreement would likely be implemented in multiple phases. Once an initial deal is made, it could lead to a truce lasting for as long as 6 weeks. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, the Bucks play host to the Charlotte Hornets tonight at the Fiserv Forum. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
If you are searching for an island of decency in a sea of media corruption, you're in the right place. Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Welcome back to Ask Hassellus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
What's the deal with leap year?
Well, some say it keeps the modern-day Gregorian calendar in alignment with Earth's revolution around the sun. But really, it's so Hassellus customers can enjoy an extra night's sleep on their new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and Serta Perfect Sleeper mattresses.
You don't say.
Plus, the term leap year was inspired by people leaping for joy over Hassellus Rewards Cash.
Rewards Cash?
Through Monday, purchase a Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper, and you'll get a $200 MasterCard Rewards gift card.
Nice.
Get a Queen Oakmont A or B mattress. Others sell it for $14.99, but combined with our Hassellus Rewards Cash and the Serta Perfect Sleeper sale, our price is $888. Free next day delivery, too.
Wow.
A deal so great, we added an extra day to the year for it.
Well,
because you can't spell sleep without leap.
That's not how it's... never mind.
Open 9 to 9. Find a no-hassle, employee-free showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Record-setting warmth today. We're off to a very mild start. From here, should get to a high near 72. Later today, rain and thunderstorms. Some of those storms could be fairly strong, so stay tuned for updates. But overnight tonight, we cool enough for snow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Come to Audible and discover the best selection of audiobooks without exception. Bestsellers, new releases, plus podcasts and exclusive Audible originals. You'll find everything you love all in one place. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Some choices are easy. Eyelid rejuvenation for your baggy, tired eyes? Dr. Bruce Massaro, that's me. But breast dogs, tummy tucks, skin care, facelifts, cataract surgeries? Well, that's a long list. Choose your eyelid surgeon wisely. Visit liddoc.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hassellus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
What's the deal with leap year?
Well, some say it keeps the modern-day Gregorian calendar in alignment with Earth's revolution around the sun. But really, it's so Hassellus customers can enjoy an extra night's sleep on their new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and Serta Perfect Sleeper mattresses.
You don't say.
Plus, the term leap year was inspired by people leaping for joy over Hassellus Rewards Cash.
Rewards Cash?
Through Monday, purchase a Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper, and you'll get a $200 MasterCard Rewards gift card.
Nice.
Get a Queen Oakmont A or B mattress. Others sell it for $14.99, but combined with our Hasselist Rewards Cash and the Serta Perfect Sleeper sale, our price is $888. Free next day delivery, too.
Wow.
A deal so great, we added an extra day to the year for it.
Well,
Because you can't spell sleep without leap.
that's not how it's. Never mind.
Open 9 to 9. Find a no-hassle, employee-free showroom near you at Hasselist.com.
Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you to the limits of your plan. Go to LifeLock.com and save up to 25% your first year with promo code CLAY.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. The week of March 4th, the Mark Belling Late Afternoon Show will be hosted by none other than Mark Belling. Belling is back the week of March 4th, 3 to 6 on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Wasn't in the bathroom, for those of you wondering. I had to talk to a salesperson about some issue related to sales. No, not now. I initiated the contact because I had a question. I was sort of like Kyle Filipowski on the Duke Blue Devils. He was the guy who claims he sprained his ankle when the Wake Forest fans streamed the court. They flooded the court. What did they call it? Stormed the court. And he claims, I was hurt. Sprained my ankle. Now I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I'm a little sore. My teammates had to carry me off the court. But replay showed that he wasn't shoved, as he claimed, by a rowdy Wake Forest fan who looked like he stood all of about 5'8". Filipowski is 7 feet tall. He's like a first or second team All-American. He's going to probably go top 10 in the draft. Certainly he's a first round NBA pick based on his size alone. And he said, and there's this huge debate in sports right now about whether fans should be allowed to storm the court. Whenever there's a big upset, this is sort of a thing in college basketball, for those who don't really follow, that you storm the court. Football, they storm the field. And there's a debate about whether this is too dangerous for the people who are on the field or on the court and suddenly find themselves caught in the middle of a stampede, basically. I will grant this. We spend a fortune getting off-duty police officers, sheriff's deputies to provide security for the players and coaches and to ensure that people don't go on the court during the game and things like that. And then what? As soon as the game is over, if it's a big enough win, screw it. I would say that the happy medium here, because the coaches, all sorts of coaches, including the Wake Forest basketball coach, who his fans were the ones who stormed the court and allegedly injured Kyle Filipowski, but not really. He even says, yeah, I think we should probably stop this. We shouldn't allow the students to do this. Happy medium is, all right, allow the players and coaches and referees to get into the tunnel. You clearly can hold back the mob for a little bit and then just open it up. You know what I'm saying? They're college kids, so there's a bit of rebelliousness to them, but they're sort of like, okay, it's going to be a controversial comparison. They're sort of like the January 6th rioters. Some of them, most of them, the overwhelming majority will stay inside the ropes. They're just walking around. There are some who are liquored up and ready for trouble. I can already see the headline. Dan O'Donnell calls all Wisconsin college kids January 6th insurrectionists. No, I'm saying they're likely to follow some semblance of order. If you've got security guards on the court saying, no, guys, wait, we'll tell you when you can go, most of them will probably do it. Where are my sound bites, Dave? I'm going to launch an insurrection on that. I didn't tell you what we were doing. We're doing the Gaza ceasefire ice cream shop declaration. That is what I said. I did say we were doing that. Admittedly, I was late because I was walking around the building just kind of talking to random people. What? Yes. Tlaib Biden ice cream. I'm saying, look at the top of this outline. Look, I am going to show to all of you watching on the Dano Cam. This is my outline for this hour. By the way, you can watch the Dan O'Cam streaming live, youtube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, which also describes my producer's status if he doesn't get these sound bites up right now. X producer. We have X Twitter. We're going to have X producer in like 30 seconds. So yeah, I have an outline. Can you guys read this? Check out the Dano Cam, and you can actually see, I am actually showing you the top secret plans for the Dan O'Donnell Show. You didn't even put it in the computer system, you slacker. I am dead serious. Where's Gregory John right now? How did you not even get that? Your one job before the show is to put these things in. Well, actually, one of like 10 shows. I also, okay, so this is what a tyrant boss I am. Right before the show started, my voice has just been really not great the last couple of days. And of course, my wife is, because you drink so much coffee. So I said, okay, I'm trying to drink more water. I actually made Dave fill up, you can see again on the Dano Cam, I made Dave fill up this giant jug of water. It was like 2 minutes to showtime. And I said, Dave, I'm sorry. I need you to fill up the water because I'm getting ready. I'm starting the stream. I'm getting our sound bites up. And Dave's not doing anything. He's literally sitting on his phone. I think he's recording TikToks in there. And I said, get me some water, damn it. All right. We have way too much fun on this show. Yeah, no, there are like 20 different things I do want to get to this hour. Hard Truth Tuesday, as well as a truly disturbing story about what happens when you force a man into a cell with a woman in a woman's prison. It's exactly what you think would happen. So today is the Michigan primary, presidential primary, and last week, Rashida Tlaib, Michigan Congresswoman, member of the Squad, member of the Hamas caucus in the Democratic Party, said to all of the Michigan Muslim American voters, and there are a lot. Dearborn, Michigan is one of the highest concentrations of Muslim Americans in the United States. Michigan has, for whatever reason, in the Detroit suburbs, a ton of Muslim Americans. There's just a ton of immigration from the Middle East to the state of Michigan, just like Germans and Irish here in Wisconsin, primarily the Germans and all of the beer they brought with it. It was just, Michigan's history as a whole lot of Muslim Americans. So that means they constitute the reason, by the way, that Rashida Tlaib is in Congress from Michigan is primarily because of that. She actually urged her constituents to, in a show of solidarity with the people of Palestine, don't vote for Genocide Joe in the Democrat primary. Instead, vote uncommitted.
We don't want a country that supports wars and bombs and destruction. We want to support life. We want to stand up for every single life killed in Gaza. I want you to think of El Shama. I want you to think of Rima. I want you to think of Sidra. I want you to think of all of the amazing young children and the people, again, lives were lost in Gaza. This is the way you can raise our voices. Don't make us even more invisible. Right now, we feel completely neglected and just unseen by our government. If you want us to be louder, then come here and vote uncommitted.
Now, proving once again that absolutely everything is political, President Biden went on the Seth Meyers show last night, late night, is that what it's called, on NBC, whatever the one is after the Tonight Show. David Letterman started on that one. It was Conan O'Brien's for a long time. Now it's Seth Meyers. Late night with Seth Meyers, I think it's called. So he goes, and hilariously, there were a number of stories that said, Biden's staying up late tonight. Biden's staying up real late. Look at you, Republicans, who think he's not up to it. Well, the Seth Meyers show actually tapes at about 3 p.m. Central Time, so he wasn't up late at all. Was there any chance Biden stayed up to watch himself on Late Night, which airs at midnight Eastern? Zero chance. I'm going zero chance. He might have been up to pee. That's the only chance. And Jill left the TV on. Oh! Who's that guy talking to Seth Meyers? I don't recognize him. And then he goes back to sleep. Yesterday, while Seth and Biden went out for ice cream, of course, Biden, while holding a vanilla ice cream cone in quite possibly the most perfect symbolism of his presidency, doing a softball interview with a late-night comedy host, holding an ice cream cone, delivering serious policy news.
Can you give us a sense of when you think that ceasefire will start, sir?
Well, I hope by the beginning of the weekend. The end of the weekend. At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
Now, why did that news come out Monday? Not last Friday. Not Wednesday. Why did Biden make a point to say, now, it could have been that he has no earthly idea what he is and is not supposed to say. I'm accounting for that possibility. But today's the Michigan primary. Yesterday, he announces a ceasefire, which is, of course, what the pro-Hamas crowd has wanted for months now, without, of course, releasing any hostages. My position has always been a ceasefire will happen when all hostages are released and when Hamas ceases to exist as either a governing body or a terrorist organization. It's really that simple. This is war. This is how it works. You don't just kind of get to declare a ceasefire and one side, which is obviously winning the war, has to stop no matter how many mentally ill people set themselves on fire in front of embassies. But Biden does this because one of the biggest things they're concerned about is him losing some of his core constituencies, especially in the Muslim American community. I call Biden Genocide Joe because that's what protesters for 4 months now have been screaming at his events. Here in Milwaukee, we reported exclusively, and then the Journal Sentinel just kind of stole our story and pretended it was their exclusive, that a group of pro-Hamas demonstrators actually infiltrated Tammy Baldwin's birthday party fundraiser at the 3rd Street Market and started screaming at her. One of the women actually went up to a Milwaukee police officer of Middle Eastern descent and asked, "Are you Palestinian?" He said, "Yes, I do have some Palestinian blood." She punches him in the face and screams, "You're on the wrong side of this conflict." They're nervous, very nervous, and it has nothing to do with the Gaza-Hamas issue per se, but rather it's about keeping their younger, more radical constituency voting for Biden. I don't know if you noticed, but the Democrats are just as divided as Republicans. They do not, especially voters under 40, they do not like Joe Biden. Joe Biden represents the old guard Democrat. They are far more in line politically with the neo-socialists like Tlaib, like AOC, like the Squad, Bernie Sanders. If Democrats had their way, Bernie Sanders, not Hillary Clinton, not Biden, not anyone from that old guard, ironically, because I think Bernie is older than No, he's not older than Biden. How old is Bernie? 78, 79, somewhere in there. He's older than Hillary. I know that. But he's a socialist. Biden's a lot of things. He's 82, so he's the same age as Biden. Okay. Biden's never been a socialist. In fact, Biden, as Democrats go, has always been something of a moderate. This, to me, has always been the evidence that Biden's not really setting policy in his own administration because it's far, far, far more left-wing than he himself ever has been. It's this cadre of undoubtedly 30 and 40-something women and they-thems who are actually setting policy for the United States. That's a comforting thought, isn't it? This is why they like, and this, by the way, is why I think so long as Biden can be upright by the 2024 election, he's going to be the candidate because he's easy. Who's easier to control? An 82-year-old who just wants his ice cream and a nap, or a power-hungry 50-something like Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris? For the power behind the throne, which one is preferable? You have to cede your power if the throne actually takes it for itself. When we come back, I am going to warn you, it's going to be a little disturbing. We are going to talk about the self-immolation that happened over the weekend in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. So if you got sensitive ears and you don't want to have to explain what self-immolation is, tune us out for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to talk about a man doing inappropriate things in front of a woman in their cell at the women's prison. So I guess more adult-themed Dan O'Donnell show coming up next.
Conservative thought, not just talk. The Dan O'Donnell Show will be right back.
You gotta see the M-Series recliners at Penny Mustard.
What does the M stand for in M-Series?
This is the future.
Modernistic.
M-Series recliners fit all body types perfectly.
Minuscule? Massive.
It provides full head, neck, and calf support.
It's so comfortable, you'll say...
Mamma mia!
Okay.
Come on, knock it off.
Moody!
See the M-Series of recliners, starting at $25.10 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for CertaPro Painters. If you're like me, you're still spending a lot of time at home. My home is my happy place, and that's why I trusted the pros at CertaPro to paint it the way I wanted. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in the state. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
So when you have a hot housing market, why would you pay 6%? I understand. Some of you might have challenging properties, houses in need of major repair, perhaps even a lot or location that just isn't all that great. Maybe you do need to pay 6%. This is Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty. Our 3.99% commission plan is perfect for every house ranging from pretty much normal to absolutely stunning. Visit redefinedrealty.com and save thousands on your next sale.
It's easy to see. We're being conned by the institutions we used to trust.
The mainstream media is distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the harsh realities facing American families. We all know something big is coming, and that's why so many folks are preparing. They're becoming more self-reliant by investing in emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, and they make it easy for you to prepare. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure some emergency food kits. There's a dozen to choose from that contain tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells large solar generators, gravity-powered water filtration systems, heirloom seeds for your garden, and survival gear. Order by 3 p.m. and your items will ship that same day. Time is short. Prepare today. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Classical conservatism. Contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
It is time now to say the things that might make people uncomfortable, but that clearly need to be said. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hard Truth Tuesday.
I know the hard truth, so I don't believe you. I'm cutting right through to the hard truth.
Today's hard truth is that the pro-Palestinian movement is preying on the mental illness of American leftists. The self-immolation of Aaron Bushnell, who, if you didn't see, and I hope you didn't, I truly hope you didn't, because it is very disturbing. He set himself on fire just outside the Israeli embassy in the United States. He's a member of he was a member of the Air Force, who said, "I will no longer be on the wrong side of this conflict. I am going to burn just like too many Palestinians have burned at the hands of the Israelis." And then, after he doused himself in gasoline and lit himself, and he went up very quickly, folks. I can't express to you how disturbing the video was. I really wish I hadn't seen it. He's screaming, "Free Palestine," as he's completely engulfed in flames, in between screaming in what I can only believe was unimaginable pain before he died. He collapsed to the ground, and despite the best efforts of first responders who put out the flames with a fire extinguisher, and one of them, a Capitol Police officer or security guard at the embassy, I'm not exactly sure which, pulled out a gun and pointed it at Bushnell's flaming body. And of course, people are saying, "You killed him! You pulled out a gun instead of a fire extinguisher." Well, yeah, you don't know what is going on here. This is clearly something that could be related to terrorism. He could have some sort of incendiary device. You don't know. This is standard procedure to have a gun just in case there is a threat to everyone else there. But the truth is that Aaron Bushnell was very obviously incredibly mentally ill. You don't do something like that unless you are. However, committed leftists like Wajahat Ali have been all over social media in the day and a half since Bushnell took his own life, saying there's nothing wrong with this. He wasn't mentally ill. This is just an extreme act of protest. Direct tweet from Ali. There is no evidence Aaron Bushnell was suffering from mental illness. He was very clear about his reasoning for self-immolation, the most extreme form of protest against what he believes is an ongoing genocide against Palestinians by Israel. His last words were "Free Palestine." Cornel West, left-wing radical and candidate for president. Let us never forget the extraordinary courage and commitment of Brother Aaron Bushnell, who died for truth and justice. I pray for his precious loved ones. Let us rededicate ourselves to genuine solidarity with Palestinians undergoing genocidal attacks in real time. There was a vigil for Aaron Bushnell yesterday at the spot where he set himself on fire. Tons of people showed up. They left messages for him, flowers, teddy bears. He is a martyr. People are saying to him, rest in power. Now, the Black Lives Matter crowd of the left, they don't like that because Aaron Bushnell wasn't black. And this is a thing you can only say to a black person who has died. It doesn't matter, apparently. If you literally kill yourself for the struggle, it's still not enough because you're white. I mean, how crazy is this? Then there was a guy who calls himself a writer from Jerusalem, occupied Palestine, who's working on a new book, Mohammed El-Kurd. You can't protest peacefully. You can't boycott. You can't hunger strike. You can't hijack planes. You can't block traffic. You can't throw Molotovs. You can't self-immolate. You can't heckle politicians. You can't march. You can't riot. You can't dissent. You can't just be. Actually, you can do all of those things, except, of course, hijack airplanes, you psychopath terrorist. What do you mean hijack airplanes as a form of protest? You can't throw Molotovs. No, that is also terroristic activity. But the people like Mohammed El-Kurd, the people like the propaganda masters who have been using TikTok incredibly effectively since the October 7th attack, have convinced a whole lot of American leftists that extreme acts of violence or self-harm, and we're seeing it with the response to Aaron Bushnell's death, are justified, are needed. This is how terrorists recruit people to their cause, by brainwashing them into believing that fighting against the great Satan is always worth the ultimate sacrifice. Aaron Bushnell was obviously suffering from deep, deep delusions. It is impossible to override your body's basic instinct. We have one basic drive as human beings, as all living things. Do you know what that basic drive is? To continue living. We eat food, we drink water, we do everything, not because we want to, but because we have to, because we have the biological drive to remain alive for as long as we possibly can. To override that, to say, to make this conscious decision, I'm going to die. And I'm going to die because Hamas committed a terrible terror attack and Israel is waging a war to wipe out Hamas, and I'm on the side that's governed by Hamas. Well, Dan, innocent Palestinians have nothing to do with Hamas. Hamas is incredibly popular in the Palestinian territories. The slaughter of Jewish people, innocent people, burned alive on October 7th was celebrated by Palestinians. We had the first rallies in support of Palestine the day after October 7th here in the United States. That wasn't to protest occupied Palestine. That was to celebrate the terror attacks of the previous day. Make no mistake about that. The idea that people can be so radicalized and so preyed upon that the Aaron Bushnells of the world will literally do anything, will override their most basic survival instinct to be down with the struggle, that's about as hard a truth I think it is for quote-unquote normal people to realize, that they really are out there, not only willing to do incredibly violent acts, but there are people willing to take advantage of the Aaron Bushnells of the world to support their radical agenda. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online. Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Dan here. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dave Spano from Annex, the president and CEO, joins me. And this week, we're seeing a whole lot of economic data, a whole lot of it related to inflation. I don't think I need to tell anyone that that is incredibly important.
That is for sure. And you look at if there's a pop in inflation, what the Fed is going to do with that information. It's highly anticipated that they're going to kick the can down the road and not drop rates in March that was originally expected, probably moving that till June. And we're really seeing a resurgence, Dan, in inflation. Is there a second wave of inflation? That will have major economic implications, stock market implications, and of course it will have political implications as well, because we're starting to see this kick up in inflation. What does the Fed do with that? And so that's the reason why, as you go through your portfolio, you need to understand how all of these pieces work together. So you need to sit down with a one-on-one review, make sure that you have a personalized plan that aligns with your personalized portfolio as you head into 2024, so you can make sure you maximize your income now and in the future, and understand how your portfolio is positioned to go forward.
That's right, because pretty much anything anyone has predicted about this economy over the last couple of years, whether we're going to have a recession, when we're going to have a recession, when inflation is going to come down, how much it's going to come down, has been wrong. It's been kind of amazing how the economy has sort of defied every single expectation. That makes it very important to know what you own, to know why you own it, and to know how best to position yourself for even more uncertainty. You head to annexwealth.com for a review of your portfolio. It's a wealth metric. It is totally free. For Dave Spano, president and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. Thanks for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing, because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Bhavin Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Here's another remarkable success story from QC Kinetics. This one from Chad, who hurt his knee at the gym one day, and it just kept on hurting for months.
From my high school football and wrestling days, I already had a little bit of damage in there, but this just sent it over the edge.
Chad tried traditional treatments with no improvement when he turned to the non-surgical regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
It was really fascinating how they did their work, and the science behind it was very intriguing, and it works. Extracting the cure out of my own body blew my mind. It's like I'm brand new again. It was fantastic.
That's because the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments use your body's own healing power to restore damaged tissue in your hips, shoulders, back, and knees, providing long-lasting relief.
Now I'm back at the gym. I'm 100%, feeling great.
If you're tired of suffering with pain from arthritis or injury, call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
414-285-3474.
Don't miss By the Yards preseason sale going on now through March 4th. Order now and be summer ready with new, maintenance-free outdoor furniture backed by a 35-year warranty. Explore new arrivals at By the Yard showroom at Mayfair Mall or shop at buytheyard.net.
When you're in the market for windows or doors, call Callan, your fiberglass window expert, featuring Marvin Infinity Fiberglass Replacement Windows. Visit callcallan.com or call 414-529-5509.
We put the wow in home remodeling.
Warshawski's Victor Harding, Best Lawyers Product Liability Attorney of the Year, achieves maximum compensation.
Best Lawyers Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year, Warshawski's Frank Cravello, achieves maximum injury compensation.
Injured?
It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
All right, I was going to highlight this bumper music because Dave is playing some absolute bangers today. I kind of don't want to. It's called Light It Up, after we just did a story about a dude setting himself on fire. Raphael Lake in the bumper music rotation with Light It Up. I have made an executive decision. It's been like 6 months since I asked corporate for a premium iHeartRadio account so I could make playlists and share with you. I'm going to do a Dan O'Donnell Show bumper music playlist on Spotify. I can't. I tried forever. I will try to get that in by next week. A whole lot of the bumper music that we use. I have been asked this consistently since we started doing the show because I take pride in the fact that our bumper music is a whole lot different than what you'll hear on pretty much every other radio talk show, which typically will do, 70s rock, 90s rock. Dave says the Eagles, followed by the Eagles, and then to switch it up a little bit, the Eagles. Yeah. Although I do like when I'm filling in for Belling, the edict was handed down. Look, it's Mark's show. We don't want it to sound too much like your show. And I'm like, well, then maybe you should have someone else hosting it because it's going to sound like Dan O'Donnell no matter what I do. I can do a Belling impression for 3 hours, which I think would be hilarious. And I really hate is April 1st on a weekday today? Or this year? Not today. Would I theoretically, yes, it's a Monday. Oh, you know what, though? Belling's, that's probably the week he's back. It is the week he's back? Okay. Because I was going to do, this was my April Fool's plan. I was going to do the Mark Belling show as Mark Belling. Do I want a job is more like it. No, Belling's got a pretty good sense of humor about that stuff. No, I would do it for a segment. I would just do the opening segment as Mark Belling, and I would just get in every quirk that he's got, because as we've established, my greatest fear is not that I'm going to turn into my father. It's that I am slowly turning into Belling. Is my Belling impersonation better than my Evers impersonation? I believe it is, actually. Oh, you really are fired. He goes, in fairness, there's nowhere to go but up. What's Jeff Orlowski doing? Is he around? Can we get him in for the last 20 minutes of the show? Good. You got other stuff to do? Yes, I think my Belling impression is pretty good. No, I'm not going to do it because if he hears it on the radio and gets mad, then I'm in deep trouble. It's my show. I can do the Belling impression. No, you know what? We're going to have a VIP Dan Club, and then you can hear my Belling impression. I think my best impression has always been Bernie Sanders. We've got to get to this story. Caitlin McGraw is currently incarcerated at the Tachita Correctional Institution in Fond du Lac. She's serving a sentence for possession of narcotic drugs and bail jumping. She spoke exclusively with the Daily Signal. You can see this story at dailysignal.com. After she was forced to room with a man. Recently, she began sending distressed messages to her fiancé, Raymond Slater II, describing a transgender prisoner named Mark Campbell, with whom she shares both a cell and a bunk bed. She's been describing extreme anxiety as she described her cellmate's constant, how shall I put this, self-love, sexual comments, and aggressive behavior. And she asked her fiancé to find out what exactly got Campbell locked up. It's not good. In a message shared with the Daily Signal from mid-February, she wrote, "I'm just so extra stressed with this weirdo under me," meaning on the bottom bunk. She questioned her fiancé. What did she do? All right, that doesn't exactly make sense. We could use some editing over at the Daily Signal. Her concerned fiancé quickly I get it. Okay, I see. What did she do? Meaning, how did she end up in prison? That is a very awkward sentence that preceded that. Mark Campbell, good night, baby. I love you. Her concerned fiancé quickly turned to the internet to discover who this prisoner was. To his horror, he stumbled upon the Daily Signal's reporting from September 2023, a report that revealed Campbell to be a man who now identifies as a woman who raped his own daughter and is a registered sex offender convicted of first-degree sexual assault of a child. He is now locked in a cell with a 5'2", 150-pound woman. He is constantly touching himself. He is constantly making sexually suggestive remarks to his cellmate, to Caitlin McGraw, and there's nothing she can do. She's trapped. In the message, she said, "They moved me to Monarch," which is the mental health wing of the hospital wing, basically, of the prison, "because they believe Campbell over me," she said to the Daily Signal on February 19th. "He told them I'm delusional because I said he was touching himself all the time," which he was, "and they told me if I refuse Monarch Hospital Wing, I'll go into segregation. Anything is better than a cell with him. He asked me when he first moved in if I have any friends because they're going to be curious if I have seen his female part because it looks great and the surgeon did an amazing job," and he goes into other things that are too gross to say on the radio show. McGraw expressed herself disgusted and traumatized with Campbell's alleged proposition. "I don't want to see nobody's privates," she wrote. "Yuck. Also, he told me he don't have a and can't. And I said, I don't care. I don't want to know." Campbell's 52 years old. He's 5'9". He's 225 pounds. Court documents allege that he would sexually assault his daughter while her little brother was home, and that her little brother would sometimes come into the room while the sexual assault was occurring. "I can't believe," Slater said, the boyfriend, "that people in charge there decided to put her in the same cell as a man that raped his 10-year-old daughter, knowing Katie's background." Caitlin, was sexually abused by a child, Slater said, which she confirmed in messages to the Daily Signal. Now, you might remember this. There was some reporting on Campbell locally. In 2013, he first attempted to get gender reassignment surgery on the state's dime. The DOC denied his request. 2016, he files a lawsuit accusing DOC officials of being indifferent to his medical needs by not allowing him to get so-called sex change surgery. The Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in 2019 that DOJ or DOC officials couldn't have anticipated that denying a surgery to Campbell would violate his rights. However, in December 2020, a federal judge ruled that Wisconsin must offer Campbell taxpayer-funded transition surgery and must move him to a women's prison while awaiting that surgery. He remained in men's prisons until August 2022, and then he was moved to Tachita, which provides female inmates with a safe and secure environment that is gender responsive. Except when they lock you in with not just a man, but a man who has been convicted of raping a woman and a girl. This is flat out dangerous. This is DOC, of course, refused all efforts by the Daily Signal to get a comment. But this is frankly abhorrent. And I want to know how many left-wingers who are so concerned that we effectively shut down the juvenile justice facility. Remember that because of abusive treatment by the guards. Nobody goes to Lincoln Hills anymore. We're so concerned about the treatment of inmates and the treatment of jail guards. Remember when David Clark was sheriff? Oh, he shut off the water and an inmate. No, that wasn't the story at all. The story, we care about it. Do we care about Caitlin? Do we care about Caitlin McGraw being literally locked in? And she is describing sexually aggressive comments and behavior. And I do not for a second doubt that a sexual deviant, a sex offender, is touching himself constantly in the presence of a woman. Frankly, this is despicable by the Department of Corrections, and they deserve to provide some answers as to why this is occurring, why this dude doesn't get a cell by himself, and why Caitlin McGraw isn't protected. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at the Lynch Automotive family of dealerships. It's Truck Month once again at Lynch, and they have all the American trucks you love. Chevys, GMCs, Fords, Rams. Take advantage of these low financing offers this month. Purchase a new Chevy Silverado or GMC Sierra and receive 2.9% financing for up to 72 months, or pay just 1.9% financing for up to 72 months on select new Ford F-150s in stock, or receive a $4,500 rebate when you buy a new Ram truck. Also included in every new vehicle purchase at the Lynch family of dealerships, the Lynch Protected program, which covers your paint, windshield, and tires for 1 year after purchase at absolutely no cost to you. Low financing and peace of mind when you choose Lynch. Head over to shoplynch.com today. That's shoplynch.com.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
You know, our friends at Henry Repeating Arms, they manufacture a line of very high quality rifles, shotguns, and revolvers that you can be very proud to own. Now, they're made in America with parts and materials also from America. Now, they use old world craftsmanship combined with cutting edge technology to deliver reliable and accuracy that you can trust in any situation. Now, they're easy to use and maintain. It makes them an excellent choice for both a novice and experienced shooter. Henry has over 200 models, so you can find the firearm that's right for you. There's also new releases all throughout the year, and every purchase is backed by their lifetime warranty and the company's owner. Anthony Imperato also gives his personal guarantee for 100% satisfaction. Now, make sure you go to their website, henryusa.com. Order their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. You're going to love this company and these firearms like I do.
Get ready for our 2024 iHeart Podcast Awards, presented by The Hartford, live at South by Southwest. March 11th, we'll honor the very best in podcasting from the past year, and you'll help decide who wins Podcast of the Year. Vote now at iHeartPodcastAwards.com.
Are you looking for some non-dairy deliciousness? Discover the rich, creamy taste of Planet Oat Oat Milk. Planet Oat Oat Milk is an excellent source of calcium with only 4 grams of sugar or less. Enjoy it in cereal, coffee, smoothies, or by the glass. Pick it up in your local grocery store today.
In today's Marketers Report, Kate Cronin, Chief Brand Officer of Moderna, weighs in on the speed of audio production.
In this day and age, and particularly at Moderna, where we have new information coming out on a regular basis, being able to feed that information to the audio format makes being nimble and pivoting easy, and that's what I really like about it.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
You know, our bathroom should be a place where we feel confident and secure, especially when it comes to getting in and out of the tub or shower. Bathfitter has solutions that are not only safety conscious, but are also ADA compliant. Whether you're looking for a walk-in shower or tub-to-shower conversion, even built-in shower seats or grab bars, Bathfitter delivers, and they can make it happen in just one day. If you're ready to upgrade to something safe and modern, call Bathfitter 262-395-4925 or visit us at the Auto Show and get up to $1,200 off or 5 years of interest-free financing.
The Sawmill Restaurant Pub in Richfield has been the go-to place for generations. Exciting changes have made this iconic restaurant even more relaxing and fun for everyone. Just take the Holy Hill exit from Highway 41, turn west, and then take a right on Wolf Road. You'll see the Sawmill just around the bend on your left.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellen Becker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
NFL Combine going on right now. Brian Gutekunst, Packers general manager, taking questions about whether they were going to move on from their starting quarterback and draft one this year. Oh, wait, no, that's the Bears for the second time in as many years. I was just reading an article during the commercial break. It's the top story on ESPN.com. I apologize if it's an ESPN insider account. You need a subscription. I get one with my Disney Plus. So I get Disney Plus with my Verizon, so let's all relax on Dan getting Disney Plus. No, I don't support their woke agenda. Under the Green Bay Packers, it's predicting who every team's starting quarterback is going to be. And I love this entry for the Packers. Jordan Love, obviously the Packers' big risk in moving on from future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers and turning the offense over to Love paid major dividends. The 2020 first-round pick became a top quarterback by the end of the season, which culminated in Love registering the highest postseason QBR in the metrics history. 99.3 against the Cowboys in the wild card round. Green Bay seems to have found another franchise quarterback. I don't often pull the I told you so card, but Dave, who has been saying Jordan Love is going to be a good quarterback since watching him Thanksgiving 2022 when Rodgers got hurt against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm telling you, I saw it then. Packers know how to develop quarterbacks. The prediction for the Bears, by the way, which is all the NFL Combine has been dominated by, I've been watching ESPN a little bit. Will the Bears move on from Justin Fields? Look, if you have the potential to take a franchise-altering quarterback, personally, I think Caleb Williams is a whiny diva who has bust written all over him, which is why I want the Bears to take him. He also has the potential to be a superstar. He also has the potential to be a guy who, who would be a good comp for him? Jalen Hurts actually is probably a pretty good comp. Only he's considered a better Jalen Hurts. That said, you know what Jalen Hurts has? Jalen Hurts is a quality individual, as evidenced by, instead of whining and sulking during the national championship game when he got benched in favor of Tua Tagovailoa, he actually takes over basically coaching Tua, and they win the championship. I guess we'll have to continue this discussion this afternoon. I'll be back on the Mark Belling Late Afternoon Show.